Ordain. With me, I have a whole house full of persons that is here from the police force. We have the Deputy Commissioner of Police, we have Officer Donnelly, and we also have someone from Inland Revenue Department, Miss Olia Prentice. The Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force is very much geared towards educating the public on any changes, whether it be law, whether it be changes in anything that we have to, that will be conflicting with the law. So this morning we'll have them introduce themselves and tell us just a brief reason for them being here this morning, the role they play in educating us on the changes with the VRS and the updates.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Olia Prentice. I am Senior Tax Inspector Officer 2 at the Inland Revenue Department. My role here this morning is basically to speak about the process changes at Inland Revenue in regards to the registration of vehicles and the issuance of driver's licenses.
Good morning. My name is Donnelly Libert Chiverton. I'm a constable of police, and I'm here basically to support Deputy Commissioner Mr. Henry. I am one of the persons who supervise the traffic department administrative part of the whole process.
And good morning. I'm Deputy Commissioner Cromwell Henry. I'm always happy to be here, and I'll be lending support. As Ms. Shiverton says, she's supporting me, but I would also be lending support to her and Ms. Prentice from the Inland Revenue, and basically introduce and explain to the public our new procedures or new processes, the enhancement, the digitization or the further digitization of the processes at the traffic department. And so this morning we hopefully would have a very informative session, and we look forward to your interaction.
Thank you so much for those introductions. So we'll dive right into the questionnaire. What are some of the recent changes implemented in the vehicle registration system, known as the VRS, to enhance effectiveness in the traffic department?
Well, the vehicle registration system, it came about to make the function of the traffic department more efficient. So whereby in the past, our registrations, all the activities at the department was done manually. The registration forms were handwritten, and persons would go to Inland Revenue and they would pay, and Inland Revenue would give them a handwritten receipt, and then that receipt would be returned to traffic department at the end of the day, and the traffic department will manually handwrite the information in some large books at the department to update vehicle data and driver's license data. And of course, with the steady increase and the fast increase in the number of vehicles and drivers on the roads, it became difficult for the staff to keep up with the volume of entries that they had to enter in these books. And so they would make mistakes, they would omit, they would leave out, they would lose some of the receipts, and so the vehicle, the data, the records were not properly updated. And that led to a number of mistakes, persons being told that their license were not renewed, when the license were in fact renewed, but our record doesn't reflect that. Vehicle numbers, registration numbers being duplicated, because the record may show that a vehicle is not licensed for 2 years, when in fact the vehicle in fact is licensed and the department did not enter the information timely, and so that number would be issued to another party, and we had a number of duplication on the road. And so we developed this system, the vehicle registration system, that would automate and digitize all of those processes. So when a person goes to the traffic department to register a vehicle, that vehicle details, the registration details for the vehicles would be entered into the vehicle registration system, and so they will get a printed registration form rather than a handwritten registration form. Then they will go to Inland Revenue. Inland Revenue also upgraded their system to issue printed receipts from the system. So once you make the payment, the system generates the receipts, and so that data is now stored electronically on the system. And so there was no need any longer for the traffic department to have to update the system, because the system was updated daily by the Inland Revenue system. And so that whole process was automated. We've now gone a step further now, in that we are further making the system more efficient, in that when a person registers a vehicle at Inland Revenue, at the traffic department, that data goes into our system and it gets to Inland Revenue in real time. As soon as it is entered in our system, Inland Revenue sees that. And so by the time the person goes to Inland Revenue to pay for the registration, the information would have already been there, and they just, we just accept the money, the payment, and our system is automatically updated in real time. So that is one of the benefits. The system is updated in real time. Anything that you do, any transaction that is done in the system, Inland Revenue sees it in real time. Once the transaction is completed by payment, then the payment, the system, our system is updated in real time. So both our system and Inland Revenue system are linked, and so there's real-time updates. We've also taken it further to include the vehicle inspection agencies. The vehicle inspection agencies are now required to do the inspection through our system digitally. So that form that they used to tick, that paper form that they had that they would tick all the inspection points that they're examining, we've digitized that form. And so they can use a phone or a tablet now and select pass or fail for the same areas that they would have been ticking. And once the vehicle passes the inspection, Inland Revenue sees that in real time, immediately. So when the customer goes to Inland Revenue to license their vehicle, they do not have to walk with any inspection paper from the inspection site. So it saves paper in that the inspection sites no longer have to give you a printed form with your inspection. All they need to give you is the receipt, the payment receipt, once you pay for the inspection. And the customer gets an email copy of the inspection report. So the inspection agency will put in the email address for the customer, and they get an email copy. If they prefer it to be printed, the inspection has the option to print the report. So Inland Revenue sees that inspection report real time, traffic department sees that inspection report real time. So by the time the person reaches Inland Revenue, they just give their vehicle number and the Inland Revenue has that data. It also includes insurance companies. I'm being long, but it just show the extent of the enhancement. It also includes the insurance companies. In the past, I like to give background so that people will see the difference. In the past, when a person renewed their insurance, because it's a requirement to license your vehicle, Inland Revenue and the police only get that information from the insurance when the person goes to Inland Revenue to license their vehicle. So if you renew your insurance in January, but your vehicle license is not due until July, we would only see that insurance information that you did in January in July when you go to license your vehicle. So in July, when you go to license your vehicle, you have to present your insurance certificate, and the Inland Revenue Department will update the system based on the date, the January date that is on the insurance certificate. Bear in mind, it is now July, so they're now entering the January renewal in July, and that is when the police sees it. So the police would only see that January renewal when you go to license your vehicle in July. Similarly, if you license your vehicle in July, but your insurance expires in August, we would not know whether or not you renew it unless we stop you and ask you. So we would only know next year, July, when you come back to license your vehicle, that whether or not you renewed your license, your insurance in August. So you could drive the whole year until June, and then go renew your insurance in June, and then go license in July. And we will not know unless you are stopped. So the enhancement now takes care of that. When you go to the insurance to renew your insurance, the insurance companies now have access to our database. So they would enter the renewal information right away. So as soon as they finish taking your payment, your premium payment, and update their system, they will update our system with the new expiry date and renewal date for your insurance. So Inland Revenue sees that right away as well, and so does the police. So when you go to Inland Revenue to renew your vehicle license, they would have already have your renewal information, the type of insurance, your certificate number, the expiry date of your policy. And so there's no need for you to show them your insurance certificate. So if you're renewing your vehicle 6 months after you renew your insurance, a lot of people can't find the insurance certificate the month after they renew. And so they have to go back to the insurance and get a copy and pay $5.
I get it.
Right. You know would be spared that paying that $5 to get a copy of your insurance certificate, because when you go to Inland Revenue, the information would be there because the insurance would have entered it. So you don't need to walk with your insurance certificate. You just need to give Inland Revenue your vehicle number, and they would see the data. So the vehicle inspection, once they enter the data, the insurance, once they enter the data, all Inland Revenue need to do is collect the money. So it saves you time at Inland Revenue, and Ms. Prentice would explain how the process is improved now. So those are basically some of the enhancement. There's more, but if I speak to all of them, we'll be here all morning. But I just want to give the main ones that immediately impacts most members of the public.
Yes, and just to add to what Mr. Henry spoke about with the insurance companies, just for the general public, that each insurance can only see their customers.
Right, yes.
Okay. Ms. Prentice, you already threw you under the bus.
Okay, so from the Inland Revenue side of things, when someone comes to the department, a first-time person trying to learn to drive, right, they have to purchase a learner's permit. Before, they used to just walk in with an ID and we process the document and issue it to them. But now, what is the change is that persons have to now complete a form, present to identifications, so that we can enter them into to VRS, right? So what will happen is that when they finish their examination with the officers will just go into the VRS and enter whether they pass or they fail. Right, so that makes it easier for traffic officers when the persons complete their tests, whether it's the written test or driver's test. One other thing is that we know once a person comes into the department and they've passed, we just enter the certificate number and pull up the information, and they just go and pay. Once everything is fine, we update it, make sure everything is fine. They present 2 IDs, of course, we update the record, they go and pay, and then they just come and take their photograph. And we also take their signature to attach to the driver's license. So that's something new in regards to the permit. Once the permit is entered, it makes it much more smoother for traffic once the person has completed their tests. Now, for persons renewing their driver's license, once ago, you would have had to complete an application form. That is no longer required, unless there are changes to your information, such as you would have moved. So you have a new address, you'll have to complete the application form. You have a new contact number, we update it. Okay, but once everything remains the same, you live the same place, your contact number is the same, etc., you just proceed to the cashier, present your driver's license, and complete your renewal. Okay, so that takes away the paperwork. We're basically going paperless, right?
Yes.
Saving some trees.
I'm following.
Yes. In regards to duplicates, you just present your 2 IDs to the counter. At the cashiers again, make your payment, come to taxpayer services to collect your driver's license. So we are moving away from paper. The only time we will need the paper is, like I said, if information changes and the permit, right? In regards to driver's licenses, temporary driver's licenses, there's still an application form that has to be completed, and that process remains the same. They come to taxpayer services, and then they go to the cashiers to make payments. So there's no change in regards to temporary licenses, I must say that. In regards to the vehicles, once person is renewing their vehicle license, as Mr. Henry said, once the inspection agency and the insurance company has put in the information into VRS, the individual just has to proceed to the cashier and present the vehicle registration number, or the license plate number as we call it, and make their payment, and they receive the decal for the vehicle. Same thing for transfers. But I must say, however, because we are new, there's still a process in the office whereby persons have to present the insurance and the inspection if the inspection agency or the insurance company has not entered the information into the system as yet. So then there's an officer. We thank the traffic department for sending an officer to the department who assists with that process. So they'll come into the department and proceed to that officer who would enter the information for the insurance and the inspection, and then they proceed to the cashier to make payment. So that is really important to stress that for now, because it's new, they still have to present the insurance and inspection,
Yes.
right?
If they were not.
If they were not, if the insurance was done previously or even in January. If you're renewing now, of course, and the insurance company is on board, then they will enter the information. So then when the person comes into the department, they don't have to proceed to the officer because all the information is already in. Now, as you know, we had the e-service for the online for the renewal of driver's license and vehicle licenses. With the online, there's some changes in that we're now using our smart portal, which was introduced a few months ago. With regards to driver's licenses, persons can just go onto the site and click driver vehicle, driver's license. What you're entering is your driver's license number and your date of birth, and proceed to make payment. That's it. You don't need any other information to be entered. So it's simple, easy. In regards to the vehicles now, what you require is your vehicle number, whether it's a H, a T, a P, a PA, etc., and the chassis information. So that is required to proceed to make your payment. However, in order for you to do it online, your insurance company and the inspection agency would have had to enter the information into VRS. Once any of those is missing, the system tells you inspection is missing, insurance is missing. So you will not be able to do it online. So it's really critical when you're doing it online that your insurance company puts in your insurance information and the inspection agency puts in that inspection information as well for you to pay online. And then just come into the department and collect it. Say if online with the driver's license, just come into the department and collect it. Simpler, easier. And we want to say thanks to the public for being so patient with us. We know it was a rough few days when we introduced it, and they were very patient, and we must say thanks to the public. And they continue to be patient with us.
Yes, we are still in the teething phase, and so we hope that by January we would overcome all the teething issues. Luckily for us is that most vehicles should be licensed by the end of October, which is today. Because the next set of numbers is 1 and 2, November and December, but they would be required to be licensed in January and February. So we have a break between November and December, so that we'll get all our systems, fine-tune all the kinks, and hopefully, and well, we should be prepared to go with everybody on board. Most of the insurance companies and most of the vehicle inspections have already been on board. We just have 1 or 2 more to on board, and then we should be good to go. One thing that I want to elaborate on, that earlier mentioned the learner's permit, and just to show how it enhances, how the enhancement there for that. Previously, when a student purchases a permit, in a revenue, you just sell them the permit, give them the permit, and collect the money. And then when that student goes to the instructor has to make an appointment. And by the way, the instructors also are on the system. They have to make appointments for their students for the tests through the VRS. So they no longer come to the office and make appointments in a book. They have their accounts, they log on to the system, and they make their students' appointment. But previously, before these new enhancements, they would have to enter the student information. So the student would go to them with the permit, they would log on to the system, they would search for the student name if the student has not been registered in the system before, then they would enter the student name and the student's details, including the permit numbers and everything. And what we recognized with that, they would make mistakes in the spelling of the name. So a person named Sean, they might put S-E-A-N, but the person spelling name S-H-A-W-N. And other mistakes, they left off the E off the ground and leave up numbers from the permit numbers. They make a lot of mistakes, and the addresses, they would have the wrong address or not the correct street name, or they put female for a male. You know, mistakes that we have to correct, and creates problem and slow up the process, and adds to the inefficiency. So this new enhancement now, when the student go to Inland Revenue would enter all the student details in the system, their name, their address, date of birth, everything about the student. They would have to present IDs to verify, to confirm what the information they are given, and so Inland Revenue would enter that. So when they get the permit, a number would be assigned to that permit. So the instructor would now search for that student using that number. So the number on the permit, the instructor would just put it in the system, search, and he would find the student, because the student would have already been registered by Inland Revenue. So it takes away the requirement of the instructors to add the student details. So it makes it easier, more efficient for the instructors. If they put the wrong permit number, they're not going to find the student. So again, it ensures that the numbers are accurate at all times. So whatever number Inland Revenue gives the student, that is the number the instructor has to use. Otherwise, they will not find the student, and they cannot add a student to the system. So they have to get the correct permit number in order to be able to make appointments for their students. So it makes it more efficient in that regard, and eliminates some of the errors that we used to encounter.
Yes, thank you so much, Deputy, for that. We're going to take a short break now, pay some bills, and after we're going to take a few calls. We'll be right back.
Are you tired of Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? The Cable has the ultimate solution with our whole home Wi-Fi coverage. Say goodbye to frustrating signal drops and hello to seamless connectivity in every corner of your home. No more
Mom, my tablet's not working in my bedroom. My game is freezing, Daddy.
or WhatsApp calls dropping as you walk around the house. So many people struggle with dead zones and restricted Wi-Fi, and the Cable has the answer. Enjoy full blanket increased Wi-Fi coverage with installation in 48 hours or less. Whole home Wi-Fi coverage is here. Get the whole family connected today. Come in or call the Cable at 465-2588 to get your whole home Wi-Fi boost installed. The Cable, always giving you more. Terms and conditions apply.
Funerals are expensive. They can put financial strain on relationships and even put families in debt for a long time. At Nagico, we offer the Nagico Serenity Plan, which allows you to make decisions about your final send-off, cover your funeral costs, and can go towards your final affairs like outstanding loans. Contact Nagico today for a free quote so that your goodbye can be done with dignity. Nagico Insurances, fast, fair, and always there.
It's Financial Information Month in the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Financial empowerment through education. If you don't know what that is, let me tell you all about it. Learn to spend wisely. Invest to grow your money. Business stability. But financially. Heavily regions economy. Work to financial security. Prosperity for all of we. FIM is for you and me. FIM is for everybody. So tell your friends and your whole family. Financial empowerment through education. Build yourself and the entire vision. Learn to spend wisely. Invest to grow your money. Business stability. But financially. Financial Information Month. Financial empowerment through education.
Good morning and welcome back to Policing with You. This morning I am your host, Charmaine O'Dane. With me I have the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Officer Donnelly, and Ms. Prentice. They are basically educating us on the updates of the VRS and the benefits that we would have. We have a call, so we're gonna cut and we're gonna take the call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Dumpling speaking. I have 3 things to say. I'm from McNoid. I born in West Wongot. And the crazy people them that I know, them they done dead. Yesterday I in town, I see some fresh face, crazy people. 2 of them, I met one there by this week there by the lead Walvin, trying to separate a bag from a tourist man. When you look at a woman passing and she said, order from McNoid. And they're from McNoid. These crazy people what I see now, young man in Mac coming through the terminal and all in town, doing a lot of stupidness. That is not from McNoid. You understand? And shoot over these crazy doctors that's down there every Thursday, and they have to come from country and all about to go for the medication. And they have to walk to Irish Town and the feel where they like down there, they're coming back down to there. Or you do something about these crazy people, these fresh-faced people. So like what Mr. Bratton did do. I remember when in the 60s, coming up, when they had the federal time, when the Queen, they come, they take up Charlie Breadfoot, Doodoo Bim, all of them, Bobo, all of them, and they had them locked up in different police stations, go to the country. Or you move these people off the road when IFC tourist boat come, because it's going to be a backlash and saying it. My they're going to say, oh, we need it, you know, they're going to say, saying it happened down by Port Sante in Bass there up 4th Street. I do something about this. And next thing I have about these road old here on the road. People scared of when they're passing late, like after 5, 6, these old bus. People might behind you and then like me, so who is a disability, that's why me don't have to catch things. Don't care how much the bus man them charge me to go charge, well, I won't pay. Because me want nobody do me nothing. So something about these old cars on the road. The last thing I have to say we terminal with these police. The fresh-faced police and we just come back. All I want to do is the phone in the hand. The one in India, boy, they took a knee. They're walking with Casper. Where the guy in India for? And Casper one got toilet down the parents' town got toilet. They're on the phone all over the bakery. They're doing the work down there. They just got down there block up. The Batman down the terminal. It's just that the busman them ain't another place. They want to believe that the rules, some of them are not all. And at toilet come talk about this, you know. Or you do something about this here with these police. The city old police them, bring them round when they're in the khaki and the police shot. And when they do a lot of stupidness and go do things and so, line by things and they pull them with them. When they pass out now, they go and go do the same thing. I pull up ice up with them, I get discussing me coming on and talking about these people and the water. They're doing nothing. They just can't go make money for nothing when they talk. Some of them when they pass in the police car, they say, see they should pass, shot them on the radio. When I abuse them, I don't lock me up, you know, and someone's me, you know. Or they just trouble me, you know. They just trouble me all of Chadwell, where I live, the passing to, and they just say, see they should pass. Mine, when I abuse them and I give them what we know about the parents and them, and they come to the lock, someone's in me mind, I better defend me. Tell them leave me. Them fresh-faced police where they are. See you all.
Thank you, caller. Thank you for those concerns and recommendations. We have a next call. Okay, we've lost that call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I want to support that caller who just called in 100%. And it's a matter of fact, people been calling about issue that dumpling ways about these crazy people for years, for a lot of time. But as we not think it is very unique until a tourist gets hurt seriously. You're going to see the police them up and down trying to put things in place. But I have seen a lot of locals get injured by these people. There was a time a lady going down by Royal Bank, and one of them pitched the lady on her face because they asked for money and the lady didn't give up. And these things are no reports are being reaching to the police. So I'm just trying to wonder why the government or the police put together not doing nothing about it. You're going to wait until somebody kills somebody, until somebody, as Dumpling said, until they injure a tourist or kill a tourist? Why something can be put in place? Is it that no government thinking about the community, thinking about the people? I mean, even the police force, man, Henry, you're there. I would like you to really push this thing further. Have a committee or something, or have a group that goes out and see about these crazy people. Because somebody's going to get hurt. And ain't everybody going to allow them to approach them, you know. Ain't everybody going to allow a crazy person to approach them. And next thing they're going to say, oh, the government child, the government this, government that. I've seen it happen before. So please, y'all come on and radio ever so often, but I realize even government ministers and nothing being happening. Government do it, police do it, all kind of people do it. Come on the radio every minute and years and years and years after, people still complaining about the same thing. I don't understand it. Thank you very much. Please do something about that. You made a good point, and I had no choice but to back her up, to call in.
Thank you, caller.
Well, thank you. I want to thank that caller. Well, those two callers for raising those concerns, and we too have similar concerns or the same concerns with respect to the number of mentally challenged persons. And we are in contact with the mental health unit at the ministry, within the Ministry of Health, and we address those that we can, the most severe ones. But you must understand that we have limitations. We cannot just take them and put them in a cell in a police station, as Dumpling suggested. It happened a long time ago. That would not help the situation. To take him and put him in a cell may just aggravate him more if he's mentally challenged. And so we would want to provide the appropriate assistance for these people. And so when we take them, we have to take them to a place where they could get medical assistance or psychological assistance to help to aid their particular issue. And so we have to work in cooperation with the mental health authorities and work based on their directions. We cannot just walk around and pick up persons who are mentally challenged and lock them up in the station. That would not be very good for those persons and for the other persons, the other sane persons who may be at the same facility. And so we have to work in coordination with the mental health unit, and we are doing that. It just may not be at the scale that we would like, the pace that we would like, but we are doing it based on the prioritizing based on the severity of the mental illness of the person. Any more calls?
Okay. We don't have any more calls at this time, so. Okay, we have one more call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My concern is about the bus drivers. The bus drivers believe that they own the road. They believe that they are the king of the road and they could just run anybody off the road. They are my biggest problem. And I think when it comes to the stopping, they just pull up anywhere and stop and hold up a whole long line of traffic. Sometimes there's an opening and they don't pull over in the opening. They just mean they're going to stop all the traffic. They don't want anybody to pass. Sometimes they're not ready to turn off, but they have on the right indicator, indicating that they're going to move. So I think something should be done. We need bus stops, not only in Bastille, but throughout the whole island, because we have more vehicles, we have more traffic, but the busmen them feel like they could just pull up and stop anywhere. They ain't concerned about who behind them and who needs to go on the journey.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for that. Okay.
Yes. Yes, hello. I bless good morning. The program sound good, but a lot of them who teaching people to drive who understand the computer system thing. Because you all like in America with this kind of thing. Everybody could understand them driving instructor could understand what you all have with the computer, and everybody know to work them coming and work it good. And the people and why they're talking about the crazy people, some of them they put themselves in that problem, and God will find comfort for them, because you can't take them up and put them in your home unless the family them sign, as I understand. So you all take care, Mr. Clarkins, Miss Joe.
Thank you, Carla. We always assist those who are not familiar with the computer to ensure that they become familiar and able to use the system. We have to move forward, and we cannot stay down because a person cannot do something. What we do, we try to help him to move him along with us.
Donnelly, we'll have you speak before we wrap up on the process of registration and the changing of ownership.
Good morning to those persons in Radio Land again. Thank you guys for joining the program, and we are so happy to have you. Registration and transfer at the Traffic Department is a challenge on a daily basis. We get a chance at Traffic Department to see persons from all class, all areas, from the high to the low, because of registration and transferring of vehicles. Registration of vehicles, when one comes to the Traffic Department to register a vehicle, one must have their driver's license with them. Now the system is asking for your driver's license because the new system that we have in place now requires your driver's license as opposed to any other ID. Not that we will not take your any other ID, but we would use preferably the driver's license, mainly because once you put in that driver's number, it just automatically brings up the person's name. If you don't have that person's driver's license, you have to put in the person's first name, the last name, and their date of birth. And the reason why I think that the persons who would have enhanced the system would have done that is because in the system, for example, you have 5 persons by the name of John James. And so if you have 5 persons in the name of John James and you want to do a transfer on a vehicle, you will not check for a date of birth to see John James, and you will just click on John James, not realizing that you're not putting in the information under the right John James. So registering a vehicle, if you register a new vehicle that comes in from overseas, those vehicles that come in from overseas, you have to bring with you the documents that you get from the company that you're registering the vehicle from, along with your driver's license, like I said before. The name on the document that you bring to the Traffic Department, if the name on the document is not the person who brings the document to the department, then it must be accompanied by a letter stating that they want us to register the vehicle in that person's name who is bringing the letter, as opposed to whose name is on the document. Transfer of ownership. Whenever you're transferring ownership from one person to the other, both parties must be present at the Traffic Department. You must bring with you your ID again, preferably your driver's license. You must also have the information on the vehicle: engine size, chassis number, engine number. And the reason for this information is because some information differs. Sometimes someone might come to the department and say, I want to do a change of ownership on my vehicle. We go into the system and we do a transfer because, okay, well, I know Tom James, he bring his vehicle, I have his ID, and I start changing doing his transfer. Only to find out when I finish printing the document and they take it for him to sign, he say, oh, no, that is not the vehicle I want to transfer. So once you bring the information to me, we match the information with what you have to what we have to make sure that we're transferring the correct vehicle. Engine size and chassis numbers are very important. Some persons come to the department with the incorrect information. Sometimes our system would have one thing and the information that they have is different. So what we ask the persons to do in that case, once our system has a chassis number that is different to the one that you bring to us, we would ask you to take a picture of the plate that is inside of the vehicle under the engine, or we physically ask you to bring the vehicle to the traffic department and we would have that vehicle checked by an examining officer. Persons who are registering vehicles for business for the first time, persons who would have had business license before the 4th of October, they can do business as usual. But persons who have a new business license, they would have to come to the traffic department because they would have to put that information into the system, and then again you would need to bring along with you all the information, all the documents that would be needed in order for you to transfer a vehicle or to register a vehicle into that business name. Taxis and rentals, in order for you to get a transfer of a vehicle with a taxi, you must bring a letter from the tourism department, and the hire buses, you must get a letter from the transport board. I think I will stay here for now. If there's anything that I need, that Mr. Henry would need to add with regards to the registration and transfer of ownership on vehicles.
Well, I just want to reiterate the point that you made about bringing a letter if the name that is on the invoice that you're for vehicles that are into is different to the name that is on the invoice. You must get a letter from that person whose name you're putting the vehicle, whose name is on the invoice. And they must be notarized. And let me explain that further so that persons understand it clearly. If I purchase a vehicle from Japan, order the vehicle from Japan, the vehicle gonna come in my name. The documentation from Japan would have on my name, or the custom document would have on my name. But if for some reason I ask Ms. Shiverton to go to traffic to register the vehicle for me, and we've had this in the past, that is why we changed the system. Ms. Shiverton may now go and register the vehicle in her name instead of my name. But the vehicle really belongs to me, but I just ask her to go and register it. And then she go and register the vehicle in her name. The vehicle belongs to her. As far as we're concerned, it's whose name the vehicle is registered in. That's what the law says, is the owner. So I ordered the vehicle in my name. I just give her the document, say, go up there and register this for me. And unknowing to me, she put the vehicle in her name. The vehicle automatically belongs to her. I got to go through a legal process now, get lawyers involved to get back the vehicle from her. So to avoid that, once the documentation has on my name, the vehicle must be registered in my name. And if I want the vehicle registered in somebody else's name, there must be some. If I'm not coming to do it myself, there must be some letter stating, okay, it's okay to register the vehicle. I must send a letter saying it's okay to register the vehicle in Ms. Shiverton's name. So I may have ordered the vehicle from Ms. Shiverton, but they send the vehicle in my name. But the vehicle really belongs to Ms. Shiverton. I would have to sign over that ownership to Ms. Shiverton so that we don't get any discrepancies after.